right, there's all of us. Okay, so let us have a roll call vote to start this meeting. So Marissa?
Marissa Carrera here.
Maren?
Maren Goldstein here.
Shannon?
Shannon Dunham here.
Lori?
Lori Garcia here.
Mayor?
Mayor LaChapelle here.
Jonathan?
Jonathan Schmidt here.
Cindy Kwasinski here. Well, welcome to the October 13th meeting. And I don't have any announcements. Do you have announcements, Dr.?
I do, and you don't need to record this because Easthampton Media is recording it.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
Just
going to
wanted
stop
to double
it.
check.
Yeah, I'm going to stop it.
No, I didn't think you were recording it.
Well, I had it paused and then I was going to hit it, and then you're right. I don't have to. So
Okay.
Thank you, though.
I do want to just give a few reminders to folks. We have a couple surveys that are out now. We have a kindergarten survey out for the kindergarten families. I think we've had almost 100% participation. We've heard from 113 families, and I think we have 114 or 117 kindergartners. So
Wow.
we're pretty close. And we also just put out a pre-K through 8 new school naming survey. So we are looking to get feedback from the community. And so it's on our website, on our district website, about halfway down, there's a big blue box. But it's also out on all our social media pages, and that can be shared. And I think maybe they can put it on the city side as well.
Yes.
And I notified all the families in the community members that we have contact information for, and I put it out there. So I looked this afternoon, we had over 300 responses so far. So that's going.
Wow.
And that
Excellent.
information will be shared with the school building committee, who will be working on a recommendation for the school committee on the name of the new school, because believe it or not, we need to figure that out soon because it impacts the placement of letters in the brick. And so we need to get in, and they're going to be lit from behind. So it's actually electrical issues that need to happen. And then this week, I'll also be putting out a survey to all families on how remote learning is going. So that will be coming probably by Thursday. So that's just something to be looking for, just to kind of check in with families and see how we're doing. So that's all I wanted to say for announcements. Thank you.
Excellent. And I do want to announce that we are going to go into executive session at the end, and we will be adjourning from executive session, so we will not be returning. So I'm going to open it up to public speak for 3 minutes. Is there anybody? I'll be scrolling through. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Please raise your hand. And I don't see anybody. We don't have multiple pages. I'll give it another second. And that is it. No public speak tonight. All righty. On to subcommittee updates. I believe the only thing we have is policy, and we have a list of policies to go through. Do we have anything before we go through policy? No. This is going to be a short meeting. Okay, so let's turn it over to Shannon, and we can go through the policies.
Okay, first, I just wanted to mention we do have a meeting next Tuesday at 5:30 to finish up the rest of the reopening of the schools guidance that MASC has given us. So we should have that wrapped up next week. Is everybody ready? Okay.
Yep, and we apologize in advance. We have to do roll call votes for every single one. So
Did we decide we had to do first and last name, Cindy, this time, or was it just first name?
I don't think we made that decision. I think it's first and last. Sue, can you tell us if it's first and last when we roll call?
Yes, please, first and last.
Thank you. Okay.
But the difference is Cindy just says our name and we say yes. So we don't have to, she doesn't say Laurie, then Laurie Garcia.
Yep.
We're
I feel-
eliminating one of the names.
I feel kind of bad about that because Cindy ends up having to say our names over and over and over and over again.
I don't mind. I like you all, so I don't mind saying your name.
Okay.
37 times?
I like you too, Cindy.
All right, here we go. I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC JLC.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Yes.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD policy JLC.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JLC.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Hold on a minute. It should have been JLC 1. I apologize. I didn't see it. I'm getting old.
oh, you're right.
Let's see.
There is the one. Thank you. I got it. Yep.
Go
Oh, right
second
there. I
that.
see that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Strike our vote.
Okay. All right. So
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JLC 1.
good.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC ADF.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JED.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to to add MASC JH.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD GCA.
Second, sorry.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
All right. I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC GCA.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD GCA E1.
Second,
Marissa Carreri,
aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JFE.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC JIE.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JLCC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC JLCC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JHCC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to update current EPSD JRA with MASC changes as submitted.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD JRAR.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC KDB.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cynthia Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD KBA.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC KBA.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC GBJ.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD GBL.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC IHBG.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC IHBG-R.
Second.
Marissa Crary,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD IGBHA.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD IGBHA-R.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
and Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC JJ.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC KI.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD KK.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Yes.
Shannon Dunham,
Yes.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Yes.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC EEA.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye. Almost done, people.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD EEAA.
Second.
Marissa Carreri, Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC EEAA.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC EEAEC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri. I didn't hear you, sorry.
Aye.
Okay, Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Yes.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete EPSD EEAC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Yes.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC JICC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Yes.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mayor LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to add MASC EEAG.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mary LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to delete E EPSD EC.
Second.
Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Aye.
Mary LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the second reading to update current E EPSD EC. I'm not sure why it was done that way. Because we just deleted it instead of update it. We're accepting the MASC version,
Correct.
basically what that means.
Yep, it says with MASC changes,
Yeah.
so I think that's good.
Okay.
All right. Lori, did you second? Okay,
I was
Marissa
waiting for the
Carreri.
explanation.
Okay, Marissa Carreri,
Aye.
Maren Goldstein,
Yes.
Lori Garcia,
Yes.
Shannon Dunham,
Yes.
Mary LaChapelle,
Yes.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye. Woohoo, we got through them. People could make dinner while we do that. Nice work, Policy Subcommittee. That's amazing. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
It's amazing. Okay. Superintendent update.
So I went over most of the updates already, and I'm happy to take questions this evening if any of the school committee members are looking for information on a specific topic. But I do want to just make everyone aware that the Universal Free School Meals federal program has been extended until the end of this school year, so June. We were waiting, we just received notice of that on Friday. So we're beginning to share that information out with the community. So that would give children 0 to 18 breakfast and lunch, no cost. They can pick those meals up at either the high school or Maple School 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When they come in, they get bags for 2 days worth of meals, except for the Friday is 3 days worth of meals. And there's no forms that need to be filled out. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone had that information.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to provide any specific updates that anyone has or address any questions that anybody has. Maren?
Yeah. So we had voted to start special populations this week, and it was pushed into next week.
Yes, starting on
and-
Monday.
Yeah, starting Monday.
Yeah.
And I know that teacher negotiations are still continuing on a memorandum
Yes.
of understanding. So I'm curious, though, to get an update for how many teachers we need and paras that we need to meet our special population needs, and whether or not we have those teachers confirmed or not at this point.
So we have, in our first phase, beginning next week, we have 28 students that will be coming to the high school. And the teachers have all been informed. They've known about it for a little while now. And I think that if they were not going to be coming, we would have, I hope, been provided information from them at this point. So as far as we know, all the teachers are coming in that we've reached out to. Some of the paras have gone on leave, because many of them because their children are not in school right now, or their children are little ones that are not school age yet. And so we are shifting some staff around, and we're making those communications to the staff, that's paraprofessionals, this week. to make sure that we have enough paraprofessionals to begin next Monday. And that was part of an earlier tentative agreement with the union that staff that didn't have current student assignments could be reassigned during the school year at their same pay level, and with the promise that they would go back to their old jobs when we were back in normal school times. So we anticipate that we will be okay. We have a posting up right now where we're advertising for a few more paraprofessionals, because I just think as we start to come back to more in person, we're going to have a need. So we're putting that out there now.
So 2 follow-up questions. Thank you for that. So in terms of the paras that are putting forward requests for leave because they have their own children at home that are not in school, as you stated, is that are they still working in remotely to support, or are they fully just now on leave and not working in our school district?
They've indicated they're looking for a leave of absence on the Federal Family First Leave Act, CARES Leave Act.
So we weren't able to adjust them to be into our remote support, or no?
We have not at this point, but I assume that if we can, that leave is only for a prescribed period of time, and then they'll have to make some kind of arrangement to come back, whether it's in the remote or in the face-to-face.
Okay. And then the other question I had, sorry, just had a bell go off.
No, that's fine.
So I think originally we had talked about 50 students coming back for remote population. So can we just have a clarification of the drop from 50 to 28?
I think Sarah's on this call, or she was. Yep, there's Sarah. Sarah, can I ask Sarah to weigh in on that, Maren?
Of course.
Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
So the 28 students that we have right now, I think there are 56 students in our sort of special population, special education group. And of that group, 28 have decided that they want to send their children in person. So this doesn't include EL students. This is just the special education group we're bringing back next week. So I think it was just parent choice. We have, so it's about half, right? That have chosen to come back.
Okay. I thought that originally we were starting with ELLs next week.
We pushed the ELs back 1 week, Maren. So they're going to be starting on the 26th with the kindergartners.
Okay.
The schedule and the staffing more closely aligned.
Okay.
To the kindergarten program.
And then, so I'm just curious, since we are down to 28 students, how many different classes is that setting up now? I just don't know how they clumped. So I'm just curious how many classes we're filling now with 2 to 4 students or whatever it might be. So if we could just get a little bit more clarity on that.
Do you want me to answer that, Dr.?
Yes, you probably have.
Yeah.
This is a multi-paged Excel spreadsheet that all the administrators have going that Sarah put together. So Sarah can basically go to any tab you ask her to right now, give you that information.
It's 7 programs, including preschool. So I think there's 5 preschoolers, 5 students in our RISE program. So 5 of 14 preschoolers are coming. 5 of 8 RISE students, that's our preschool autism program. 4 out of 4 for our SOAR program, which is our autism and developmental disabilities program. I think 3 of 5 from our LEAP program, which is our social emotional program. 4 out of 4 for our middle school developmental and autism program. 2 out of 8 of our students from our social emotional middle school program, and 4 out of 7 of our language-based learning disabilities program at the middle school level.
Okay.
So paras vary. There are 7 teachers and 14 paras. So for instance, the RISE program, because of the students, has 4 para educators, whereas one program only has 1.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that detail.
You're welcome.
And those are all going to be using the second floor, except for the preschool classes. Those will be in second floor level in our high school?
Preschool and
Preschool and
RISE.
Rise are on
And-
the first
First
floor.
floor.
And I think we moved SOAR to the first floor
We
today,
did today, yeah.
just to
Okay.
make room for on the second floor for thinking about kindergarten.
Right, okay. And are we still on track to have a kindergarten class starting in a week and a half as well then?
Yes.
Do you
Okay,
have a sense of how many kindergarten families are sending their children in?
Yes, I have the survey up. Can I share the screen? No. If you want to allow me to share the screen, I'll just bring up the survey.
You've got it.
for you. Okay. Let me see. So, well, the first questions are just your child's name, what school you attend, your child's teacher, and then will your child participate in a hybrid model, 2 days in person, 3 days remote? 65% of people are saying yes, and 35% are saying no. The actual numbers are right here. 73 yes and 39 no. Would you prefer a half day in school with afternoons remote or a full day program? 70% or 72 people say they want a full day program, and 30% say they're interested in a half day program, or 30 people. And then we asked a question, if your child qualifies for the bus, would you be interested? 68% of those that responded here said no, they would not be interested, and 32% said yes. So it was a very simple survey. That was the last question, but it helped us gauge the interest. So we had quite a few that want to have their children in school.
And so what is the plan? Is it a full day or a half day program that we're offering? Full day.
Full day. Yeah.
With
And
these,
No, please go ahead, Marissa.
I was going to move on to the next thing. So if you want to go ahead first.
Well, I was going to ask a transportation question, so you can go first and I'll follow up.
Okay. I was just going to ask, we had talked briefly at our last meeting about including first graders as well as a potential group to bring back in on priority. And looking at our kindergarten numbers, is there projected possibility of a timeline for getting first graders in the
I
building?
would, so I guess I'm rubbing up against the December, which seems far away, but it's not really. We have tentatively agreed with the union that if we say we're bringing back a new grade, we're going to allow a couple weeks for that planning to occur. So if we start kindergarten on the 26th, we would need to at least give a couple weeks before we entertained first grade, which would bring us around Thanksgiving, by my estimation. And then do we bring kids back for a few weeks in December? I don't know. It's a possibility. I'm not sure. That's pretty much as far as we could go, Marissa. In that building, there are about 33 classrooms, of which we're using 7 for special populations, and then we'll be using another 6 for kindergarten. We have several classrooms that we cannot have access to really because like a woodworking class is just not, the right setup. The art studios, the technology classes have a lot of fixed computers, so there are classrooms that we can't use. So we'll pretty much be maxed out at the high school if we bring back first graders, and that will bring us right up to around Christmas break. The mayor and I met with some folks today, kind of trying to explore access to our other buildings and what the likelihood of that would be. So we're doing some brainstorming around that. So then it becomes a question, do I move the first graders into the high school only to possibly move them to another building after the first of the year? So, I'm carefully weighing the trend of the virus. If the virus starts to ramp up, I may slow the process down even more. If the numbers drop down, if it gets better, I may, push to have first graders come in. I know it's a need. I definitely feel the input from families, but I also think that kindergarten is, I don't want to say the test subjects for us, but they're the first grades we're bringing back. So we're trying everything out with the kindergartners for the first time. So I think we want to work out the kinks because this is a new school for them. So moving into a new school for our staff and our teacher and our students is, remember, these little ones have never even been in a school, most of them. So this is going to be a big transition. So we want to be thoughtful about it and work out all the kinks as much as we can. So that's kind of a roundabout answer. I'm still open to first grade, but I'm gonna wait and see.
Someone just remind me, when was the next date that we were looking at for considering a shift to a hybrid model district-wide? Do we have
It was originally listed at November 3rd, but we were also recognizing that was always listed as a very penciled in date. So there never was a fixed date really set to that, for that phase of school.
Which would be the week after kindergarten starts. So I think that would be a good time for me to give you a progress report and for us to look at the health metrics more closely and, see if we can bring our first graders in.
Well, I would certainly suggest doing a similar survey as you did with the kindergartners to get a sort of litmus test of where our parents are for their first graders, to get that same type of review of full day, half day, school busing and attendance or not attending in person.
Absolutely.
And then if we could get that reported back to us by our next school committee meeting in 2 weeks, then we would at least have that detail going into that conversation.
Okay.
I think that would be helpful for all of us.
Sure.
I would love to see first graders start in November if we can. It's such an important year.
I would too. You don't have to twist my arm.
No, I know that. I'm just really hoping that it can happen.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a crucial year for them.
It is. And particularly, I think a parent that emailed all of us put it in such great perspective, saying, for a lot of these first graders, they've only ever been in a school building for maybe 6 months. That's all. They've never really been in a school since last March. And that's a big part of their education. So I definitely hear you.
So we won't be having a meeting on November 3rd, though. I just want to make sure we know that.
Okay.
That is
The
election.
27th.
We have one in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to do the 27th and we're going to do the 10th.
Well, we can assess at that point if you'd like me to have everything ready for you. Yeah.
I would like that. I think that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, and I have a couple more questions, but I see your hand up, so why don't you go ahead?
My goodness, you're just full of them tonight, aren't you, mister? Okay, so I'm actually shocked that we had an original list of 112 students and only 28 are coming back.
Well, there's a couple of groups that weren't included in that in the end. That's why.
Shannon, we had 58 special pop students.
Okay.
And 28 are coming back.
Okay,
The
so
112 was the kindergarten number.
Well, no, that also, it was 108 and it included the homeless and foster student
yeah.
population and the ELL
And the
population.
So
ELLs,
where
yeah.
are we with those numbers?
The ELLs we're putting, they're returning on October 26th with the kindergarten, because they're
Okay.
going to have a similar day, similar kind of schedule. And the homeless in foster care, I really, it's difficult to bring them back without a learning center. So I don't have a homeless teacher or a foster care teacher. They're immersed in all the other grades. So as I bring back kindergarten, any kindergartners that are homeless or foster absolutely can come back. As I bring back first grade, the same thing. But unless I have a remote learning center, I can't welcome them back K-12 yet.
Right. We don't have enough population, enough students to be able to fill out a whole classroom of 12 students to have a teacher no longer being in remote and now teaching in person instead.
And that was one of the reasons why I brought up the remote learning center for those children.
Yeah.
We have some numbers on those populations if you want them, Shannon.
Yes, please, thank you.
You're welcome. So what we decided to do is for our EL population, which I think was 30 or 40, maybe 30-ish, 14 of those students will come back at this. So 14 of those, we decided to develop some criteria to determine which students were the most vulnerable. So they're ranked. I think Dr. Claire explained this last week, but we're bringing back our level 1 and level 2 students. And so there are 14 of those. And of the homeless and EL students, I think we originally had, maybe 16. Some were coded incorrectly in the system, which we've corrected. And there's only 2 students in that category whose parents want them to return. So it's 14 ELs and 2 in the homeless foster care.
So are those the younger levels? Is this what we're talking about? Or is this like the whole spectrum?
All K to 12.
Oh, okay.
But so how exactly is that going to work? If we have 14 ELL students coming back, is that going to be one teacher who's teaching a 1st to 12th grade range of students? Or are we having, can you just clarify how many classrooms and how many teachers are teaching those two different, what the grade spectrum is then?
In the district, we have 2 ELL teachers, and they would both come back. They would each have a classroom at the high school across from one another, actually. One would be teaching, one would be teaching the elementary and half of the middle, Sarah, I think. And the other one would be teaching half of the middle in the high school. So they would have a grade span of students.
And they each have a paraeducator that would be helping as well.
Okay, another question I had was as far as the kindergartners coming back. Have we come up with a schedule as far as mask breaks and lunch breaks and?
Yes.
So that's all been.
There is a schedule there. They're putting final touches on it right now, but if you look at the original schedule that we presented in the summer, all of the drafts had the mask breaks every hour. And we have the tents at the high school, so the children will actually go outside and take their masks off in the tent area and just, have some fresh air for a little while. But yes, there's protocols for hand sanitizing, when that will happen, the bathroom use, what that will look like. We have protocols around that. Mask breaks, lunch. We've got all the protocols around it, and that's all been kind of discussed with our COVID response team, which is that group that Laurie Garcia sits on for the school committee, and our epidemiologist and our school physician and our city health agent and our nurses. So yeah, we've been working on all those protocols.
So are they having staggered breaks, or are they going?
Yes, they're going to have, classrooms will have staggered breaks. So not all K students will go out under one tent, at the same exact time. one might do it like on the hour, one might do it at 10 past, 20 past, 30 minutes past the hour. So they'll stagger them.
Oh, okay. So I went by the other day and the tent, there's only one tent up. Did we lose one?
Yes, we did lose one in that bad weather we had. When did we have that bad weather? I can't even remember.
Last Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did lose one. So Dale reached out to the company and they are replacing the entire tent because they thought there was a defect in the structure of it. So they're sending a whole replacement for it.
Okay. And I was under the impression that there was walls.
No, you're not supposed to have walls.
So if you have walls, that defeats the purpose of open air
They're supposed to be
and
open air.
becomes a room, and you don't want them in a room, so you want the sides gone so that the air is flowing freely through the tent. Mayor?
So on the tents that we have at City Hall, Bree said that we could have two sides up for each tent.
Mhm.
So we have a double tent, a side on each, on the wide side, and then a side in the middle. So I don't know if it's different for schools, but it was two sides that we could have for every tent.
Yeah, I don't know. Dale researched this. I mean, we got the building permits. This is what we went, checked with the fire chief. This is what they all
Yeah,
said
no,
we needed to do.
I mean,
so
yeah,
we
and
followed
you
their
see that
directions.
too with the restaurants in town, businesses. You can have, you've got to have, you can have no more than two.
Did we purchase, did they come with sides and we just haven't put up the sides?
No.
So we
they didn't
purchased
come with
just
that.
tents without sides.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a moot point at this point, unless we wanted to go out and purchase sides.
I was under the impression that we did because they were so expensive. I thought they came with sides.
Not
No.
always.
All right. The only other question I had was what is the percentage of students that we still aren't really getting involved in school
I haven't really
or another?
I haven't really heard of any students that we're not engaging with at all. Of course, there are students that definitely struggle to get the work done, particularly if they have special needs. But I think that they're all trying to be engaged. Their families are trying to have them, they've all been in contact with the teachers. The teachers have had open houses virtually. They've done parent meetings. I mean, there's been a lot of engagement. We take attendance every day. So,
Well, that's kind of what I was asking.
yeah,
Are we having any issues with?
none that I've heard of, but I will follow up on that, Shannon, but nothing that has risen to my level.
I think it'd be really helpful for all of us to understand how remote learning is working to
Yes.
get a sense of attendance for the first few weeks. So if we got that by the end of October, we'd have a month of data on attendance. And just so that we have that in a helpful way to cross-reference that to what an average year's attendance would have been in the first month of school, reference to what it has been in remote would be really helpful for next meeting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
I'd be curious because teaching in another district, I've been very pleased with the attendance, more than 95% attendance rate and very good engagement. So I'd like to see if it's the same here.
Yep.
So I've got two last questions. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just, when will we hear from the wellness community and having the epidemiologist on? I don't know if that's for Cindy, Allison, or Lori.
We have the COVID response team has another meeting coming up, but I don't know when it is. I think it's.
We're setting the date. Sarah's
We're setting the date.
next week. Yes.
Next
So
week.
you'll be meeting next week, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That was going to be my question.
Yeah. So I can get an update from them. And I can work with Sarah. We can put an update together. Well, I know Laurie gives you an update, but we went through all the protocols for when we have someone that is sick in our schools. What will our protocols be? So we've gone through all that together, and been reviewing that. And the nurses, the two RNs are really busy this week getting prepared to welcome students back next week. So, but I'm sure we can get an update from the COVID response group, and then either Laurie can report out on it or I will, or we can do something together.
I'd be happy to. Dr. Leclerc, you said what we reviewed last week in draft form would be gone over and put on the district website. Is that going to happen? The protocols?
Sarah, did I get the final copy of that yet?
Yes, and it is on the district website, as well as a parent letter from the nurses.
Oh, thank you.
For students who are coming back.
Thank
We
you.
put it right on that main page, so it's there.
Thank you so much, because it's a great document. People would like to see that.
Can that be sent out to us as well so we can see that too?
I'll ask Sarah to do that, or have the nurses do that. Yeah,
Thank
she
you,
said
Sarah.
she will.
So I have two last things, just trying to get through a little bit better picture of what's going
Yeah.
on. So first off, I guess is a concern a little bit. And so I'm just going to voice my concern as a committee member, and other people can weigh in or not. But, you know, when we made a vote a number of weeks ago about who was starting back in school and when, I certainly through this conversation so far, it certainly sounds like everything's being made in terms of good choices, and recognizing what can or can't really work in reality. But I guess from my perspective, I would really appreciate if something like we make a vote that, you know, all special populations, including ELL students, including homeless, including foster, all those students are supposed to start on a particular week. If that's not going to happen, if because of when you guys go through the numbers and you try to figure out the actual details, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening, it would make a lot of sense to me as a school committee member that you would report back to us saying, we've decided we're going to push kindergarten back a week. We've decided ELL is going to be pushed back a week. We've decided that homeless and foster care students are not going to be coming in out of a remote, but not coming in person because X, Y, and Z, right? So if we make a vote and ask a decision, I just feel like that would be really an important thing for you to report back to us if you're changing what our decision has been, and then providing us the facts with why you're changing it. So far, like, again, I say this very much just sort of requesting a communication thing, because I feel like everything you've said tonight has really helped understand why those decisions have been made. And so I don't question any of those decisions that you've made in the actual implementation of our policy choice, but I don't want to feel like I need to ask 20 questions to try to get that information. So I'd rather if something's changed from a policy choice, that would be reported back to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
There. Yep.
And then the last detail that I'm just looking for, just because of, I know that you guys are working a lot on transportation and stuff as well. If you could also just give us a little bit of sense what, I saw the pie chart of how many people are going to be dropping off their kids as opposed to looking on taking a bus. We've had a lot of discussions about how we use our buses in the city, over the summer in terms of last year and things like that. So I'm just curious, a little bit of report back on what is the transportation needs looking like as we look at the next couple groups that are coming in, and how that's going to play out with number of buses hired and things like that.
Sure. So I can give you a little bit of an update of where we are right now. And right now, I think we are using 3 buses a day, every day. Even though we don't have students in the school buildings right now, we have a morning and an afternoon run to Lower Pioneer Valley Collaborative. And so that picks students up in the morning, brings them to Lower Pioneer Valley, brings them back to Easthampton at midday. And then there's another bus that leaves midday and goes to Lower Pioneer Valley and then swings back through at the end of the day. I think there's 2 buses that are doing each of those runs because the city is so large and spread out. And we have just enough kids that are eligible to ride on the bus that we can only fit 21 students on a bus because of the regulations. So we had to split it into 2 buses. And because I think we have about 25, 26 kids that go there. We also have the Smith Voc bus. And then the Special Pops program that starts next week, those students, anyone that is eligible for transportation will be on one of the little vans because they require specialized transportation. And when we add kindergarten the week of the 26th, we anticipate adding 1 more bus because we have approximately 21 students that are eligible for the bus that are kindergartners. So whether they all want it, we don't know when it comes down to the final call, but we anticipate adding 1 more bus. So at that point, we should be up to 4 buses running on a daily basis. We have normally 7.
And so I'm just to follow up on the kindergarten, it seems like that would be a bus that would be driving a pretty wide breadth around our city to potentially pick up kids from opposite ends. Is there?
Yeah.
I assume you're going to look at that so that we don't have kindergartners sitting on the bus for an hour.
Yeah,
to get
we
to
may
school,
be able
right?
to use some of the CTEC bus. We know once it drops off at the CTEC Lower Pioneer Valley, once it drops off, or the Smith Voc bus, once it drops off, they can come through and do another run.
What is the protocols if they've just dropped a group of students off? Does the bus driver need to wipe down the whole bus before they can be reused for a different population?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then
And they're
potentially our
wearing
kindergartens might
masks.
be on a couple different buses, not all 21 of them on a single bus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're wearing masks. They're keeping the windows open. I don't know if that will change as the winter comes, but they're doing all the safety protocols.
Excellent. Thank you. I just think these are really important pieces of information for our
No, I'm
parents.
glad you
So
asked.
that's why I'm asking lots of questions. So
No,
thank you
that's
very much.
good. If I don't know the answer, I'll hold you off till next time and I'll find out.
So
But yeah, I think it'd be really good next week to get some more information, or in 2 weeks on the first graders and all the different next steps. I think it's important for us to get that information. So
Yeah.
Okay, so onward to payroll. Marissa, you're on.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve the school payroll dated 10/8/2020 in the amount of $514,806.78.
I'll second that.
Marissa
Aye.
Carreri, sorry.
Aye.
Maren Goldstein.
yes.
Lori Garcia.
She's
Lori
muted.
Garcia.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Aye.
Shannon Dunham.
Aye.
Mira LaChapelle.
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt.
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye.
Motion to approve the accounts payable authorization for payment dated 10/8/2020 in the amount of $212,671.60.
I'll second that.
Marissa Carreri.
Aye.
Maren Goldstein.
Aye.
Lori Garcia.
Aye.
Shannon Dunham.
Aye.
Mira LaChapelle.
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt.
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye. Is there anything that anybody needs to discuss under other? Maren.
Yeah. So Marissa and I are working on a letter for us to review and approve to be advocating for the removal of MCAS for the 2021 school year. But can it be put on next agenda item so it's not just dealt with under other? Can it be on the agenda for us to review and discuss for the 10/27 appointment meeting? Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay. All right, there we go. Got it. Okay, then if there is nothing else, Shannon?
I just wanted to follow up on public forum that we talked about last meeting. If anybody had a chance to get more information.
You're on mute.
Oh,
I did not learn anything more about that. It might be an MASC question.
Could be.
Do you know who our contact is now?
Sue Colby might be able to answer that. I don't know who she reaches out to. I reach out to the executive director. And I'm happy to send something to him, but I don't know if it's a question that's easily answered by someone else at that organization.
Is it still Lisa LaFond?
Oh, Liz LaFond. Liz is still
That's
there.
who I reach out to.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she would be good, Shannon. If you don't have her email, let me know. I'll get it.
No, I
for you.
haven't.
Okay.
So Shannon, you're going to reach out to her?
Yes, and then I'll bring back whatever I learn at our next meeting.
Excellent. Mayor?
yeah, for a public forum under Robert's Rules of Order, it needs to be separately advertised. Strong recommendation from the city attorney is to not have it as a part of a school committee because there can be, depending on structures, back and forth questions throughout with the public. When we have done public forums before, for our planning grants, for the schools, it's very similar to the presentations we made to the school. It's not necessarily needs to be posted like a public hearing, but it should be on our website. It should have, a Zoom link with it, getting it out on Facebook, maybe doing a earned media piece on it. Yeah. So, and the rules for the public hearing, how it's going to go, should be listed, but not required. And the differentiation that it's not public speak, but public forum, so the interaction can be, back and forth. Jeff Bagg has done a lot of those, and I wonder, Allison, if we look at even Collier's can give us, or Deb Lusigna, who's on the school committee, school building committee, how, what the criteria was, but it's pretty straightforward and doesn't require public notice. It doesn't require publication like a public hearing at a meeting.
Okay, so I have a meeting with the subcommittee that for the SRO, and it was one of the things that we had talked about, possibly just doing something separate with our own facilitators, and possibly doing it as a separate thing. That's why I was just trying to figure out which way we should go with it.
Shannon, I still think it's worth a conversation with Liz.
Okay.
From MASC.
Okay.
I think
And I don't know, I think the other thing to ask Shannon is if you do that through the equity committee, if that needs to be posted as a public meeting, because I would imagine you'd probably draw X number of school committee members, and once you reach that tipping point, I think it's 4, different things come into play.
All right, I'll find out from Liz.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other? Okay, then I'd like to have a roll call vote to move into executive session. Hold on, somebody saying something? Okay. To move into executive session to conduct bargaining with the teachers union.
Marissa Curry, aye.
Aaron Goldstein,
Aye.
Lori Garcia,
Lori Garcia, aye.
Shannon Dunham,
Bye.
Mira LaChapelle,
Aye.
Jonathan Schmidt,
Aye.
Cindy Kuzensky, aye, and we will not be returning. We will adjourn from executive session. Thank you, everyone.